All right, looks like you guys can see me. Okay. All right, guys. In this video, we're going to just go through the syllabus. Of course, you could read it, but sometimes it's helpful just to talk through it. So you don't, yeah, let's do that. All right. So to find your syllabus, make sure my sharing's on. You're going to go over here and open up, oops, wrong course. Let's see, this one, syllabus. Okay, there it is. All right. So, yes, so this is a course in introductory statistics. The course name is Math V44, and I am your instructor. My name is Professor McCain, Mike McCain. Um, I've been teaching here for, let's see, 2005, so 19 years so far. I went to school at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I have a master's in pure mathematics, but I've taken these courses, statistics, and I've taught this course many times. So if you have any questions or anything, I'll definitely be able to help you out. Okay. So let's run through this. I'm not going to just read off everything. I'll kind of focus on the important things. Okay, there's your course registration number. I do want to point this out though. This course is fully online and there's no required in-person meetings or exams. Again, you heard that right. There are no exams in this course. So I think most students absolutely love that. But just keep in mind, you do have a lot of work to get through, but it's a trade-off. Okay. If you'd rather have less work, but more exams, you might want to try another class, but this one seems to work pretty good. Most students are happy with it, especially considering that my uh, students that there's many more students get through this course because the exams are really the killer for most students, and without the exams, students do tend to do better. Okay. All right. So as far as contacting me, you're going to use for general questions, use the Canvas messaging system. That is over here where it says inbox. Click there and you can figure it out. If you need to reach me by phone, you call this number. What'll happen is this will forward to my cell and then I can respond to your call. Also, if you have a specific question in your MyLab problem sets or your interactive assignments, which we'll talk about shortly, you're going to use the Ask My Instructor button. Okay. Also, if you write me, I will get back to you by the next business day, Monday through Friday. So that means if you ask your question on Friday, I mean, I'll check my email on Friday morning, sometimes afternoon. But if you don't get it into me early enough, then you might not get a response until Monday. Okay, so do your best to get your questions in early in the week. That means you want to do your work by their due dates. All right. As far as my office hours, I don't have any scheduled office hours this summer. However, I am available by appointment and I'll definitely jump on and help you whenever you want. It's just I'm not on campus. If you want to set up an appointment, just reach out, send me an email, and then we'll set something up. And then if you want to click this button, Zoom with instructor during that scheduled time, we'll be meeting via video like this. I do send out a bunch of Canvas announcements. I'll try to do it once every day or every other day, something like that. It'll get annoying, but I think it's worth doing because it kind of just reminds you, hey, we're in this class. I want you guys to succeed and keep working. And I find that works pretty good if I just kind of keep bugging you guys a little bit. I hope you forgive me for that, but I think it works. All right. As far as the notifications, click there if you want to be notified whenever I post an announcement. There's some settings in there uh, where you can change to make sure you're notified. In fact, I would make sure to turn those on. I think I did that in the other video, either above or below this one. As far as what to expect for this course, we do have these agreements with the university where we have kind of a low, high estimate for how many hours students can expect to spend in a math course. And we send these to universities and then they grant uh, students credit as long as, we've satisfied these requirements. So what we currently have in there for all of our math classes is a kind of a low estimate, high estimate for number of hours. So this course is a 4-unit course. So let's see, we can find kind of an average of the total number of hours it would take by taking 4 and multiplying it by 35. So what would that be? 4 times 35, 70, 140, 140 hours this semester. That's on the low end. And then if you take 4 times that, it's like 210 hours. So it's something between there. Sometimes students spend less, sometimes more, but that's about what you can expect for a 4-unit course. Okay. Now we're going to be doing that over 6 weeks. So just take whatever number that is. Let's say it's 175 and divide by 6, right? That'll tell you about how many hours you want to work. All right. So I would say to play it safe, let's see, it's 4 units, 12. I would say between 20 to 30 hours a week, something like that. Now, I know that seems like a lot, but again, this course is a trade-off. You're finishing in 6 weeks. You got to remember that. And there's no exams. So if you want to take it during a regular semester, 18 weeks and you got exams, you're free to do that. Okay. But for this course, that's kind of the trade-off. And I think it's worth it. Most students find that it's worth it. All right. So let you read through that on your own. Okay, as far as required course materials, you are required to have a desktop or laptop computer running one of these OSs, either Mac OS or Windows. So the Chromebooks might work, but I can't guarantee it. So if you have a Chromebook, you might want to register for another course. You can try it, but there's no guarantees. Um, all right. We're also going to be using a mobile device to upload our written work. So you're going to need an iOS device or an Android device. So this would be pretty much any cell phone nowadays would work. Uh, they all come in two flavors, right? iOS and Android. So we're talking iPhone or maybe an iPad, Samsung Galaxy. Um, so we'll talk more about that later, but you are going to need a mobile device. And you're also going to need MyLab Access. So MyLab Access is a subscription that you purchase from a company called Pearson. The cost is probably normally like between $75 to $100. However, Ventura College, or the taxpayer, I should say, is covering the cost for you this semester. So that means that you guys don't have to spend anything for this course. You just have to follow the instructions on how to get the access. So I put the instructions in the Getting Started module. It's under get a free access code here. Basically, what it does is it logs you into our VC bookstore, and they have an agreement set up with the college where they, as soon as you click it and follow the instructions, there's this big long code that'll show up there, and you just copy the code and you put it in. Uh, you put it in when you register. So now, if there's no code that appears, that means there's an issue, and you should definitely sign up for temporary access if that happens. And there's instructions on how to sign up temporary access in the Getting Started module. Okay. But you have to be signed up by the first day of class. So that's Monday. If you're not into MyLab, whether it's the full access, full 18 weeks, or temporary, if it's not one of those, then you're going to be dropped. So make sure you get in there. And then if you don't get that code and you register for temporary, that's great. You'll be able to access everything, but you need to email the bookstore or call them to get that code right away. All right, here's their contact. And just tell them what course you're in, tell them the situation, and they'll fix it right away. This is a digital version of our text that we're going to be working with. It's called Interactive Statistics. The authors are Michael Sullivan and George Woodbury. George Woodbury actually went to Ventura College many years ago, and I've spoken to him many times. It's a great product. A lot of schools have started using this guy. It's kind of set up in a different way than a typical class. So normally for a math class, I would make maybe a big long, video for you, 2-hour video. You'd watch it, and then you'd do your MyLab problems you do your own problems. And it's kind of doesn't seem to work very well, especially for this level of class. So George Woodbury and Sullivan have created this program which shows you little videos and then 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes shorter. And then an example they work out for you and some videos to show you different ways to solve the problem. And then they have you do an example. Then they have you use this thing called Stack Crunch, and then they'll just kind of recycle that. They'll do another video, another activity. And so you're always kind of jumping around, doing a bunch of stuff, and you don't have to sit and listen to me talk for 2 hours straight. So in any case, it's a pretty good product. So I hope you enjoy it. As far as the assignments that we're going to be working on this semester, there's a few different types. So here they are right here: preparation assignments, interactive assignments, guided notebooks, my lab problems, and discussions. And I kind of give you kind of a summary of what each of them are. Preparation assignments are like real short assignments that kind of review previous material to get you ready for the current material. And it's just a few problems to kind of get your mind engaged. The bulk of our work is going to be spent here in the interactive assignments. This is where I told you you're going to have the videos, the examples, the activities, kind of everything kind of cycling through. So you're going to spend most of your time here. So again, like I said, examples, solutions to examples. You'll have handwritten and StatCrunch video solutions, step-by-step StatCrunch instructions. You'll have applets, simulation activities, and exercises. Okay. The cool thing about these interactive assignments is you'll be able to rework them as much as you want. Now, there are some problems you can only work through once, but there'll be a pop-up warning reminding you of that. And the reason for that is, if it's multiple choice, we kind of want the students to try instead of just randomly clicking stuff and trying it again until they get the right answer. So this is kind of the way to thwart that. All right, but you'll be warned if that happens. All right. Yeah, interactive assignments. Yeah, this is the orientation video I'm talking about. So as you're walking through these assignments, these interactive assignments, you'll come to a page oftentimes that looks something like this. And what these are is it's kind of a list of things that you have available to you. So if there's some problem above this, there's going to be a video solution that it works it out by hand, another one that works it out by StatCrunch. And these are the these are the two options that you want to choose this semester. Use StatCrunch as much as you can though, because that's going to save you a ton of time. I know it's a pain to learn a new program, but I'm telling you, if you don't use StatCrunch, you won't be able to pass this course. Like it would take way too long to do by hand. All right, so use this as much as you can. We don't use the TI-83 or 84, and we don't use Microsoft Excel. So just don't worry about those. Yeah, so this one you could ignore. We do have, let's see, show StatCrunch. Oh, this is step by step, so written step by step. If you'd rather do that than watch the videos, and then they do have a written solution over here too. Okay, so it's pretty cool because it's got these different ways of learning the material. All right. Okay. Now, as you're working through the interactive assignments, you're going to be filling out this thing called a guided notebook. This is another part of your grade. What this is it's a notebook. I asked you to download and print these in your getting started module, and it's like, I don't know, 200 pages, something like that. But it's got kind of a structure already there for you. And what it does is it walks you through the interactive assignments. So as you're working the interactive assignments, you'll have your guided notebook next to you and you're going to be answering questions. So it's kind of getting you on two sides there. All right. So definitely make sure that you do them at the same time. Otherwise, you're going to have to do the interactive assignments twice. You want to do them together. All right. And then the idea is when you're done with this class, you're going to have this big notebook and that you can refer to for future reference statistics ideas. All right, so do a good job so that you can use it later. Also, you only get credit for these if you do a really good job. There's specific requirements. For example, you got to have all the pages submitted. All the pages need to be right side up. The lighting has to be good. It has to be very legible. You have to complete everything in there. If you miss one of those things, then you're going to be docked. So I think I scored as a 0, 1, or 2. So 2 is perfect. A 1's you missed something, little thing. Maybe you skipped part of a problem, or maybe you didn't submit the papers right, or one of them sideways or something. So, and then a 0 would be okay. You didn't, you need to, you didn't do well on this at all. So, um, um, make sure you read the instructions for those. I'll remind you about that because that's coming up. And actually, during the first week, it takes a little adjustment, but I'm going to try grading real quickly during the first week. Like on Monday, I'm going to jump on Tuesday morning and grade your assignments due Monday. And, if you get a 0 or a 1, you don't like your grade, take a look at the feedback that I gave you. You can always resubmit it, right? You can fix your guided notebooks, take into account the comment that I write. And then the idea is to fix these issues early in the semester so that we don't waste our time. So that's why I kind of do as much grading as I can on a daily basis. I want to give you feedback so you can fix it um, before the extended due date, which is Sunday, right? Emergencies only at your own risk. Uh, but you can use that extension on all of your assignments, so it allows you to resubmit. We also have a bunch of MyLab problems to do. So you're going to feel like a lot of these are just kind of copies of the interactive assignments, and they are, but there's less help. And I know it's a pain to do these problems, but we don't have exams. It's a trade-off. Okay. So keep reminding yourself of that. Would you rather take a much longer class with exams or take this one where there's definitely more problems, but you can essentially get whatever grade you want if you put in the time. All right. And then we also have these weekly discussions. So these are easy. They have nothing to do with math. They're more personal growth, reflection, interacting with your peers. Make sure you read the instructions for those too. Okay, here's the waiting for the course. There's no extra credit. Basically, the extra credit is allowing you to turn in your work up until the extended due date. So use that as much as you can. I mean, use it. Try not to use it, but you can use it. All right. As far as checking your grade, you can click there. You guys can figure that out. Make sure you read the policies here. See, I'll point out the important ones. This one's important for stay drop policy. You got to make sure that you're registered or you're going to, in MyLab, temporary or full, or you're going to be dropped. Also, this one's really important too. So for our Ventura College course catalog, we have requirements that students have to show that they're regularly either attending an on-campus class or working in an online class. So for an on-campus class, if a student misses more than 1/9 of class hours, which is essentially like 2 weeks, if you've missed more than 2 weeks of lecture coming to class, then you can be dropped. And for an online and hybrid course like this one, uh, the way we're going to set this up is if you miss uh, 5 or more, so if you miss more than 4 notebooks, if you don't submit those by their due dates, you can also be dropped. Okay, so you got to stay on top of these things. You can always work early. In fact, everything's open right now. So you're welcome to work early if you like. And okay. And then just make sure you're submitting your own work. If I find out that someone else is doing the work for you, you're copying, that's not good because what happens is like this big long process, and I have to do it to protect the integrity of the course, and it goes on your record, and you don't want to do that. So just do the work yourself. I trust you guys, but every once in a while it happens, and I like to avoid it. So be careful with that. All right, what about professionalism? Well, um, you guys are probably a lot of you are newer students, and maybe a lot of you haven't moved into your career yet, right? So we have some returning students, but in any case, one of the things that you want to learn and practice as you move up in academia and then eventually progress into a career is you want to develop your ability to communicate effectively with your peers in certain settings. So for example, we're in academia. So there's certain things, expectations that you want to follow while you're working in academia. The worst thing you want to do is upset your teacher, Uh, I can handle it. I don't really get upset if students get mad at me. Um, but I know of a lot of teachers, they get an angry email from a student and, you don't want that to happen. One of the reasons why is just like with everything in life, you generally want to find a good way to communicate so that both parties have the best chance at getting the outcomes they want. And this comes with being able to speak professionally, to email professionally, to ask questions professionally, and know kind of when and what to share. So I wrote here's a link to some advice on how to email your professor. During the semester, I'd like you just for practice. My name is Mike. At the end of the semester, you guys can call me Mike. But during the semester, let's practice here. Uh, please always address me as Mr. McCain, Professor McCain, or Professor in your emails and in person. Okay, when the semester is over, go back to Mike. That would be great with me. All right. I want you guys to succeed in the future. All right. I want you to get that opportunity at your job. I don't want some email that you write, to some peer business partner or boss, because to end up, you know, putting you in a bad situation or losing some opportunity over. And I think for a lot of students, especially new students, they just don't know. They'll write me an email and it'll be very lots of misspellings. They'll be talking about stuff I don't need to know about. They won't address me properly. And these little things when you're out in the field working can mean the difference between someone else getting the job and you getting the job, or someone else getting the promotion and you getting the promotion. So let's practice now so that, so you have a better chance at succeeding in the future. Okay. I just do this to help you guys. All right. So if I see any issues, what I'll do is I'll send you an email and I'll offer you some advice. It's up to you if you want to take it. But I think it's helpful. All right. As far as the course description, objectives, learning outcomes, you guys can read through that. That's for accreditation purposes. And classroom interaction, that's just a list of ways that we interact. These are really important administrative dates. So pay attention to these. Last day to drop with a refund is the 20th, which is coming up. Last day to drop without a W is the 24th. That one's really important. After that, you're going to get a W. Last day to drop with a W is 7/17, and that's the last day of our course. And then I put some contact info at the bottom. So sometimes a student will ask me, I'm having difficulty with my lab, and it's sometimes something that I can't figure out. And so I'll just direct you here. And then you just, like, for example, if it's my lab, and then you have the contact there, and then I gave you instructions on how to get to them as fast as possible. So, and there's Canvas. Also, if you're a student with disabilities, you need to contact the EAC. Actually, for this course, we don't have any exams, so I don't think you really need to contact the EAC. There's no accommodation. So, but if you want to speak to me about it or speak to them about it, go ahead. But since we don't have any exams, there's nothing to administer there. And VC Bookstore contact info. So again, that's the same number I showed you earlier. Okay, so that is your syllabus.